Welcome, my friends, to a journey that promises to transform your financial reality and deepen your spiritual connection. Today, we are going to unlock an ancient secret, a timeless Jewish principle that has the power to turn any salary, no matter how modest, into a truly magnificent million-dollar fortune. This isn't about get-rich-quick schemes or speculative investments. This is about a profound truth, a divine law that, when embraced, opens the floodgates of blessing in ways you can scarcely imagine. Prepare to have your understanding of wealth, giving, and prosperity completely redefined. I am Rabbi David, and for decades I have had the privilege of guiding individuals and families through the wisdom of our sacred traditions, helping them discover not just financial success, but true spiritual abundance and purpose. What I am about to share with you is not merely a concept, it is a living, breathing practice that has been the cornerstone of Jewish prosperity for thousands of years. It is called Maser, the practice of tithing 10% of your income. And by the end of our time together, you will understand not only how to implement this powerful principle, but why it is the single most important step you can take towards building a life of extraordinary wealth and profound meaning. This is a promise I make to you. Stay with me and let us uncover this incredible truth together. You see, the concept of Maser is not some modern invention or a fleeting trend. Its roots run deep, reaching back to the very dawn of our people, to the foundational stories of the Torah itself. The first mention of tithing, of setting aside a tenth, appears with our patriarch Abraham. In Genesis chapter 14, after Abraham's victory over the 4 kings and the rescue of his nephew Lot, he encounters a mysterious figure, Melchizedek, the king of Salem and a priest of God Most High. The Torah tells us that Melchizedek brought out bread and wine and blessed Abraham. And what was Abraham's response? He gave Melchizedek a tenth of everything he had. This was not a commandment given to him. It was a spontaneous act of gratitude and recognition that his success came from a higher power. It was an intuitive understanding of a divine principle long before the giving of the Torah at Mount Sinai. Fast forward a few generations, and we find Abraham's grandson, Jacob, at a pivotal moment in his life. Fleeing from his brother Esau, Jacob has a profound dream at a place he names Beit El, the house of God. In this dream, he sees a ladder reaching to heaven, with angels ascending and descending. God appears to him and reiterates the covenant made with Abraham. Upon waking, Jacob makes a solemn vow. He says, "If God will be with me and will watch over me on this journey I am taking, and will give me food to eat and clothes to wear, so that I return safely to my father's household, then the Lord will be my God, and this stone that I have set up as a pillar will be God's house, and of all that you give me, I will give you a tenth." Here again, we see the principle of Maser emerging, not as a strict law, but as a heartfelt commitment, a partnership with the divine. Jacob understood that his future prosperity was intertwined with his willingness to acknowledge God's role and to dedicate a portion back to him. It was a promise made in faith, a testament to his belief in divine providence. Later, with the giving of the Torah, Maser became a formal commandment, a cornerstone of the economic and social structure of the Israelite nation. In the book of Numbers, chapter 18, God instructs Moses regarding the Levites, the tribe dedicated to serving in the tabernacle and later the temple. They had no tribal land inheritance. Their sustenance was to come from the tithes of the other tribes. To the Levites, I have given every tenth in Israel as their inheritance in return for the work they do while serving in the tent of meeting. This was the first Maser, known as Maser Rishon, the first tithe. But it didn't stop there. The Torah outlines further tithes. There was Maser Sheni, the second tithe, which was to be brought to Jerusalem and consumed there by the owner and his family, or its monetary equivalent used to purchase food and drink for consumption in Jerusalem. This fostered a connection to the holy city and encouraged communal celebration. Then there was Maser Ani, the poor man's tithe, given in specific years to the poor. This ensured that those less fortunate were cared for and that society maintained a strong safety net. The detailed laws of Maser, found throughout Deuteronomy, emphasize its importance not just as a religious obligation, but as a mechanism for social justice, communal responsibility, and a constant reminder of God's ultimate ownership of all resources. The prophets, too, spoke of Maser. Malachi, in particular, delivers a powerful message. Bring the whole tithe into the storehouse, that there may be food in my house. Test me in this, says the Lord Almighty, and see if I will not throw open the floodgates of heaven and pour out so much blessing that there will not be room enough to store it. This is one of the few places in the entire Bible where God explicitly invites us to test Him. It's a profound challenge, a divine guarantee of blessing for those who faithfully observe Maser. Throughout Jewish history, from the time of the Temple to the present day, the practice of Maser has evolved, but its essence has remained constant. Even after the destruction of the Temple, the sages adapted the laws of Maser to apply to charitable giving, known as tzedakah. The principle of dedicating a tenth of one's earnings to sacred purposes, to support those who study Torah, to care for the needy, and to build up the community, has been a continuous thread in Jewish life. It is a practice that transcends time and circumstance, a testament to its enduring power and spiritual significance. So, what is the profound spiritual meaning behind this ancient practice? Why is it that giving away 10% of your hard-earned money can actually lead to greater wealth and deeper fulfillment? The answer lies in a fundamental Jewish understanding of the world and our place within it. First and foremost, Maser is a powerful declaration that all wealth, all sustenance, all blessings ultimately come from God. We may work hard, we may be intelligent, we may be strategic, but the ability to earn, the opportunities that arise, the very breath in our lungs, these are all gifts from the divine. When we give Maser, we are not simply donating money, we are acknowledging God's ultimate ownership. We are saying, "Thank you, Creator of the universe, for entrusting me with these resources. I recognize that they are yours, and I am merely a steward." This act of recognition shifts our perspective from one of scarcity and personal achievement to one of abundance and divine partnership. It reminds us that we are not alone in our endeavors, but rather we are collaborators with the Almighty in bringing goodness and holiness into the world. Secondly, Maser cultivates a profound sense of gratitude and generosity. In a world often driven by materialism and the relentless pursuit of more, Maser forces us to pause and appreciate what we have. It trains us to be givers, to open our hands and our hearts rather than clenching them tightly in fear. This act of giving, paradoxically, makes us feel richer, not poorer. It expands our capacity for compassion and empathy, connecting us to the needs of others and to the broader community. It breaks the chains of materialism, which can so easily enslave us, making us believe that our worth is tied to our possessions. Maser teaches us that true wealth is not just what we accumulate, but what we share, what we contribute, and how we uplift others. Furthermore, Maser is a powerful antidote to the fear of lack. Many people hesitate to give, thinking, "I can't afford it. What if I need that money later?" This fear stems from a belief in a limited pie, a finite amount of resources. Maser challenges this scarcity mindset. It is an act of faith, a demonstration of trust in God's promise to provide. When we give Maser, we are essentially saying, I trust that God will provide for me even after I have given away a tenth of my earnings. I believe in an abundant universe guided by a benevolent Creator. This act of faith, this leap of trust, is incredibly liberating. It frees us from the anxiety of always needing more, of constantly worrying about the future. It allows us to live with a sense of security and peace, knowing that our needs will be met. Maser is a spiritual discipline, a regular practice that strengthens our connection to the divine. It's like a muscle. The more we exercise it, the stronger it becomes. Each time we set aside our Maser, we reinforce our faith, our gratitude, and our commitment to living a life of purpose. It's not a transactional exchange where we give in order to receive. Rather, it's an opening, a channel we create for blessings to flow into our lives. When we align ourselves with divine principles, when we act in accordance with God's will, we naturally create an environment conducive to blessing. It's not that God needs our money, it's that we need the spiritual transformation that comes from giving. We need the shift in perspective, the expansion of our hearts, and the strengthening of our faith. Maser is ultimately about becoming the kind of person who is capable of receiving great blessings, both material and spiritual. It's about becoming a vessel for divine abundance. Now, let's get practical. How do we apply this ancient wisdom in our modern lives? What are the nuts and bolts of observing Maser today? The first question many people ask is, what constitutes income for Maser purposes? The general Jewish legal principle is that Maser is given from all net earnings. This includes your salary, bonuses, commissions, profits from business ventures, gifts of money, and even inheritances. If you receive a significant financial windfall, a portion of that is also designated for Maser. The idea is that any increase in your wealth, any new acquisition of funds, should be subject to this principle. There are discussions among rabbinic authorities about specific scenarios, such as loans or reimbursements, but the overarching rule is that any money that genuinely increases your personal wealth is subject to Maser. For instance, if you sell an asset for a profit, that profit is subject to Maser. If you receive a large cash gift for your birthday, that gift, too, falls under the umbrella of Maser. It's about recognizing the source of all your prosperity. The next crucial question is, how do I calculate 10%? Is it before or after taxes? While there are varying opinions, the predominant and most widely accepted view in Jewish law is that Maser is calculated on your gross income before taxes. The reasoning is that the ability to earn that income, the gross amount, is the blessing from God. The taxes are an obligation to the government, a necessary expense, but they do not diminish the original blessing of the income itself. So, if your gross salary is $5,000, your Maser obligation is $500, even if your take-home pay is less after deductions. This can feel challenging, especially for those with high tax burdens, but it is a testament to the strength of one's faith and commitment. It's important to establish a clear system for tracking your income and your Maser contributions. Many people keep a dedicated Maser account or a separate ledger to ensure accuracy and consistency. This also helps in seeing the cumulative impact of your giving over time. Consider using a simple spreadsheet or a dedicated app to track your earnings and your Maser donations. This not only helps with accountability, but also allows you to witness the incredible flow of your giving over months and years. This tangible record can be a powerful motivator and a source of great satisfaction, seeing how your commitment translates into real support for worthy causes. Once you've calculated your Maser, the next question is, who should I give it to? The Torah specifies that Maser should be given for sacred purposes, which today translates primarily to tzedakah, or charity. This includes supporting Torah scholars and institutions, helping the poor and needy, funding synagogues and Jewish educational programs, and contributing to organizations that promote Jewish values and community welfare. The principle is to support those who are dedicated to spiritual pursuits, those who are less fortunate, and those who are building and strengthening the Jewish community. While there is a broad scope, the focus is on Jewish causes and institutions, as this is where the traditional obligation of Maser lies. However, many individuals choose to give beyond their Maser obligation to general charitable causes as well, which is certainly commendable. The intention behind your giving is paramount. Maser is not just about the act of giving, it's about the spirit in which it is given. It should be given with joy, with a full heart, and with the understanding that you are participating in a divine partnership. It should not feel like a burden or a begrudging obligation. If it does, it's an indication that a shift in perspective is needed, a deeper understanding of the spiritual benefits. Consistency is also key. Just as you pay your bills consistently, your Maser should be a regular, disciplined practice. Whether you set aside a tenth of each paycheck or make a monthly contribution, regularity reinforces the spiritual habit and ensures a steady flow of blessing. This consistent act of giving creates a powerful spiritual rhythm in your life, a constant affirmation of your faith and your commitment to a higher purpose. It transforms giving from a chore into a joyous expression of your values. Now, let's address some common concerns. Many people say, "Rabbi, I can't afford to give 10%. I'm struggling to make ends meet as it is." This is a very understandable sentiment, and it's precisely where faith comes into play. The promise of Malachi, "Test me in this," is a direct response to this fear. It's a challenge to trust that by giving, you will not be diminished, but rather you will be elevated and provided for. Countless stories, both ancient and modern, attest to this truth. Individuals who, against all odds, committed to Maser found that their financial situations improved, often in unexpected ways. New opportunities arose, expenses decreased, or their existing income stretched further. It's not magic, it's the unfolding of a divine principle. When you demonstrate trust in God's provision, God responds by providing. I have personally witnessed countless individuals who, when they started giving Maser even from a place of financial struggle, found their circumstances miraculously improving. It's as if the act of giving creates a vacuum for blessings to rush in. This isn't just anecdotal, it's a pattern observed throughout history and across cultures where similar principles of giving are practiced. Another concern might be, what if I need the money for an emergency? Jewish law does allow for certain exceptions or delays in giving Maser in cases of extreme financial hardship or life-threatening emergencies. However, these are generally understood to be temporary measures, and the commitment to Maser remains. The goal is to build a life where Maser is a regular, integrated part of your financial planning, not an optional extra. It's about prioritizing this spiritual investment, just as you would prioritize other essential expenses. By making Maser a non-negotiable part of your budget, you are sending a powerful message to yourself and to the universe about your priorities and your trust. The benefits of observing Maser extend far beyond the financial. While it is often associated with material prosperity, the true wealth it brings is holistic. It brings peace of mind, knowing that you are fulfilling a divine commandment and aligning yourself with a powerful spiritual force. It brings a sense of purpose, knowing that your earnings are not just for personal consumption, but are contributing to something greater than yourself. It fosters a deep connection to your community and to God, and yes, it often brings material blessings. This is not a guarantee of becoming a millionaire overnight, but it is a guarantee of divine support, of having your needs met, and of experiencing a flow of abundance in your life. It's about creating a life where you are truly wealthy, not just in your bank account, but in your spirit, your relationships, and your sense of fulfillment. This brings us back to our initial promise. How does this one Jewish rule turn any salary into $1 million fortune? It's not a literal conversion of every dollar into 10. It's a transformation of your entire financial ecosystem and your mindset. Maser is an investment, not just in charity, but in spiritual capital. When you consistently give 10% of your income, you are actively cultivating a mindset of abundance, trust, and generosity. This mindset, in turn, attracts more abundance. Think about it. If you believe there is always enough and you act on that belief by giving, you are far more likely to see opportunities, take calculated risks, and attract positive financial outcomes than someone who operates from a place of scarcity and fear. Maser teaches you to be a master of your money, not its slave. It instills discipline and forces you to live within your means, knowing that a portion is always set aside for a higher purpose. This financial discipline, combined with a spiritual outlook, is a potent combination for wealth creation. It's about understanding that true wealth is not just about how much you have, but how much you can give and how much good you can do in the world. When you give Maser, you are signaling to the universe and to yourself that you are ready to receive. You are opening yourself up to greater blessings because you have demonstrated your capacity to handle them responsibly and generously. The $1 million fortune isn't just about the money itself, it's about the freedom, the impact, and the peace of mind that comes with it. It's about building a legacy, not just for yourself, but for your family and your community. It's about living a life where you are a channel for blessing, where prosperity flows through you, not just to you. Consider the ripple effect. Your Maser supports institutions that educate the next generation, feed the hungry, and provide comfort to the sick. These acts of kindness and sustenance create a positive energy that reverberates throughout the world and ultimately back to you. It's a virtuous cycle where your giving fuels more giving and more blessing. This is the power of trust in God's provision. This is the profound wisdom embedded in the simple act of giving a tenth. It's a challenge, yes, but it's a challenge with an unparalleled reward. I encourage each of you to embrace this ancient, powerful practice. Start today. Make the commitment. Begin to set aside your Maser and watch as the floodgates of heaven open in your life. Experience the transformation, the peace, and the abundance that comes from aligning your finances with divine wisdom. It is a journey that will change everything, not just your bank account, but your very soul. Shalom.